Warning. The B3F podcast may contain language or subject matter that may not be suitable for kids. You've been fucking warned. Check out some friends of the show. The Two Brothers Podcast. The Trevor Jackson Podcast. Dem Jackson Boys. The Dumbass Dudes Podcast. Pop Culture Warrior. Happened in the 90s Podcast. Follow @TheAndyHarris on Twitter. Go to our website at b3fpodcast.com for merch. Click on Tell Us What You Really Think to leave a completely anonymous review of each of us.
Oh,
yeah, just a sick fuckers, and I like it.
Enjoy the show, you cunts.
all right. So let's try this again this week. I was told that I am too self-deprecating or too hard on myself, so we'll see. Drinking a little JMO tonight. So thanks for tuning in. You know, it's an interesting thing for me because my wife's fixing to go take a shower, she says, and while I'm doing this, she says, where do I go to watch if I'm going to tune in? And so that feels weird. She's not tuned in before, partially, but then also, or at least I don't know. If she has, I don't know. But it's also interesting to sit here knowing she's likely watching. All right. Thanks, Lutch. Music is really loud, he says. So, thank you, man. So still working out some of the kinks here and figuring out little things here and there. Yeah, like I was saying, my wife says, she's not feeling great or whatever. We ate Five Guys. Don't worry, I'm still trying to lose weight, so I ate my burger lettuce wrapped. Hey, well, thanks for tuning in there. Thanks for tuning in, Lutch. You know, what have you got going on tonight, man? If you got any interesting information you want to share, let me know, and I'll send you a link, and you can chime in here for a few minutes, and you and I can, as the kids say, chop it up. I don't think kids say that anymore, but yeah. Anyway, so like I was saying, my wife says she's not feeling great. Cajun fries, I don't know, but she's gonna take a shower, and then she says, "Where do I need to go if I want to listen to this while I'm taking a shower? Facebook, YouTube, what?" And I was like, "Yeah, either of those is fine," but it feels strange because now if I talk about her, she's gonna hear it now, and I'm going to hear about me talking about her a lot sooner than after the episode comes out Monday, the audio version, that is, and which. To tag on to that. Oh, wait a minute. Cheers. It's reliable, Jameson. So anyway, speaking of hearing about it after the audio comes out, I get a text message from her, and you know what? Just let me read it verbatim. So she texted me since I started a few minutes late. She texted me and said, "When are you starting?" And so anyway, so she texted me. I don't remember what day it was, but here we go. Wednesday. So 2 days after the fact. She waited 2 days to listen. So if you're listening right now, thanks for the support. She said, listening to your podcast, I'm 20 minutes in, and it's blatantly obvious that you tune me out when I'm talking entertainment news. No mention of Chris Rock. So last week I talked about the Dave Chappelle, quote, attack on stage at the Netflix comedy festival. And but anyway, she says no mention of Chris Rock asking, was that Will Smith after the Chappelle attack? And then the only thing I said was, what's up with Pete Davidson? And she also said, Kim dated Chris Humphries, ? And then palm face emoji. This might be my motivation to hope for a guest spot on the show at some point. Steven and I tried for a long time to get her to be a guest on here, mainly because Steven wanted someone that has been with me now for married anyway, a little over 22 years, to so that he could, get with them and just shit on me. Yeah. So anyway, and she never wanted to. She's never really that interested in doing that, which I get it. Partially, I think because she was a little concerned that we would gang up on her, which Steven and I never missed the opportunity to attack each other, so that would have not been the case. But anyway, I think Steven also wanted to ask questions to her about what is it actually like to be married to me and all of my quirks and oddities. So, but we offered multiple times for her to be on here, and she didn't want to, and that's fine. It's understandable. I get it. But so she said, maybe I need to hope for a guest spot at some point, which you don't have to hope. I mean, if you're listening right now, and when you listen to this in the coming week, you're just in the floor above me. I mean, all you have to do is come in the door, and you can be on it. It may take a moment to set a microphone up for you, but we can make it happen. So anyway, that being said, I offered my wife the opportunity to come on here, and I think I said semi-regularly, and do some entertainment news. And she's thinking about it. We'll see if she takes me up on that or not. But anyway, so maybe she's listening right now. Maybe she's not. I don't know. So just to compliment her, though, she's been working out, exercising, quote, eating right, whatever that looks like for whoever. We mostly do no sugar and no grains when we diet, or whatever you want to call it. That's how I was able to beat Steven 2 years ago in our weight loss, a little over 2 years ago now, in our weight loss challenge. That's how I'm losing weight now. My wife's losing some weight, but she's also doing, she's also exercising and I think doing some yoga as well. But she's been, she noticed the other day that she's liking the way her butt starts to look. And so I'll just say out loud on here, it is looking quite nice. It always has, in my opinion. But I can definitely see what she's talking about. And so there's a compliment toward her. Anyway, on to some of the other stuff. So I know I talked about playoff hockey last week, and unfortunately the Preds are out now. They were swept too. First team out of the playoffs, and just swept all 4 games. I mean, they even had a lead at one time and couldn't hold it. This is Joey's wife listening. Yeah, so interesting. She didn't put her name on there. If you've listened to the show and you heard me talk about her, I've said her name before. But anyway, so Preds out 4 games and done. I mean, didn't win a single game. Led once, maybe, in the whole series. They just, you could chalk it up to multiple things. I mean, their franchise goalie, UC Saros, getting hurt in the last game of the season and not getting to play any of those games. A poor start to the series. Yeah, Lutch says, "Hey, Joey's wife." So, yeah. So, just a poor series overall, and I hated to see that. I mean, Ingram was playing goalie in Rittich played one game in the first game, and the team just didn't support him. And if this is boring to you, I don't give a shit, because I've gone 2.5 years without being able to talk a lot of sports with Steven. And now I'm going to, because no one's here to stop me. But they just didn't support him a lot in front of the net. And so I think they went down 4-0 in the first period, and they pulled and put Ingram in. And Ingram only gave up 2 goals that game. But then, the next game was just lights out. Like, they scored in the first Nashville, they scored on the Preds in the first minute, and then they didn't score again until it was overtime. It was a game-winning goal. So he really just played lights out after that, and played really well the rest of the series. But Colorado's just so fast and so just attack so much that they just couldn't. Nashville they just couldn't keep up with them. So anyway, I was glad they made the playoffs, and I would like to have seen them go a little deeper, but they wouldn't have if they'd have just held on at the end of that last game of the season and hadn't lost it. They could have played someone different and maybe made it through, but it was inevitable they were going to get put out in the first or second round. I mean, Colorado's just so fucking fast and so good. So anyway, let's see here. So yesterday, I took a training class, whatever you call it. It was voluntary, but I still took it. It's a responsible thing to do. It's on project management to kind of work towards that certification. Anyway, I fucking hate class, and this was so boring. And it's so strange to see grown adults trying to be teachers' pet in a setting like this. It was an 8-hour class. So that was my entire work day. I worked from home yesterday just because I had to take that class, but it was so boring. It took everything in me not to just play games on my phone. I actually caught myself like doing actual work on the computer while I was taking the class. I set everything up in here, and I put the class up on the monitor that I use for this, and then had my laptop here, and I took some notes here and there, some things that I did need to try to remember, but outside of that, it was just so boring. It was just so boring. And I get doing things to further your career, to get another notch on your belt, or whatever you want to call it, to your career and on the job. But the amount of people that play teacher's pet at, I don't know, mid to late 20s, early 30s, some people that seem like they're probably around my age, I don't understand that. Like, the guy, you're not getting a grade in this. It's a training class. So you're not getting a grade, and you don't get, extra certification or whatever if the instructor likes you more. So I don't understand. And it's not interesting stuff. Like, project management is the agile and all that. It's not interesting stuff. It's not. But I'm used to that because my entire working career, as I've went through things for the last, whatever, I don't know, 20 years, probably, almost. Every job has had something to do with quality, and its quality is not interesting at all. It's so fucking boring. But whatever. That's what I'm used to. That's what I'll do. I'm decent at it, I guess. We can't all be engineers and make lots of money and do all that. So, I can just make mediocre money and do, just continue in this career. But the training class, I made myself a little note to mention that the people, just going for that teacher's pet thing. I don't understand that for the life of me. It's sad. It's so, like, and I want to call them losers, but I mean, I'm sitting in that training class as well. So what does that really say about me? But it's just when you're really trying that hard to be the favorite student in a voluntary training class for work, there's somewhere somebody went wrong. Your parents, your former professors, teachers, I don't know. And look, obviously I want people to like me and pay attention to me. That's why I do this. But I'll be damned if I'm going to sit in a training class and try try to be the favorite student in there. I mean, I'll skate by on the bare minimum, which drives my wife up the wall. To go back to my wife, that I'm perfectly fine. Excuse me, that I'm perfectly fine with a C in a class or a B in a class over an A. Like, if it's going to take several extra hours of work for me to go from a C to an A or a B to an A, I'm perfectly fine to just stay with that B or a high C. I mean, I'd prefer the B, honestly, but I'm just not gonna bust my ass. I'm just not gonna bust my ass to get that extra credit when I don't have to. People's need to be liked has grown into its own disorder. Yeah. It's passing is passing. He says, thanks. I'm glad someone agrees with me, because my daughter, who's almost 21, is finishing up her senior year, her junior year to head into her senior year of college. And she actually is trying to get all A's this semester. Drives me crazy. My wife drives her crazy that I am this way. Yes. But my daughter, I notice little glimpses of that as well. There's little moments of my wife where she's really striving for perfection, but then there's little glimpses of me where she's just like, if I take this test, I can get an A, but if I don't take this test, I'll have a B, and I think I'm just going to take the B or whatever. And it's not to say, makes me proud, but it's like, I guess I don't understand that. Why? Because companies don't care if you got straight A's. They just care that you got the degree, honestly. I mean, granted, college education is starting to get more and more overrated as we go on, because it's getting so expensive, and it's also, the market is diluted with people with a bachelor's degree. That's why most companies want a master's now, and eventually, as more and more people start getting masters, they're going to want your doctorate or whatever. I just don't see the point in some of it. At sometimes, depending on what you want to do, I completely understand the value of a college degree, but there are some jobs out there you don't need a college degree for. So pay attention to me, kids. Don't go to school. I'm just kidding. That out of everything I've said so far, that one may actually make my wife mad. We'll see. But anyway, and that came up. So Mother's Day. Back to my wife a little bit. So we had Mother's Day this past Sunday. Obviously, you all know. And so the kids come over, they hang out for several hours, and then we all go out to eat. And then everybody goes on their way. But at some point, somebody brought up, one of the kids brought up the college situation. That both of my boys went to college, chose not to finish college. And now my daughter is just determined to finish college now. And I don't remember exactly what was said, but something along the lines of, the topic of college came up, and my wife or someone said, well, all of your kids went to college. And my daughter said, yep. And so far, all of them have dropped out except her. So anyway, what's this? Let's fuck college if you're not trying to be a doctor, lawyer, etc. Much better ways to spend time and money. And I tend to agree with you on that. There are some things there's some things outside of doctor and lawyer and a couple things that you need a degree on, but there are lots of things that you just don't need that degree on. But I'm also a firm believer that on the job training is much better than classroom instruction. I am someone, though, that learns hands-on. I want you to show me how to do it, but I want to hands-on. Don't just lecture me. So, but anyway, I mean, whatever. To each their own. To each their own. To whether they're going to go to college or not. So, Lutch, actually, did you watch the fights? I know you did, because you and I were tweeting back and forth at each other about the fights last week. Some good fights and at least one really, really shitty fight. But anyway, back to the other before I move on to that topic. But So the topic of college comes up. My daughter says something, but she's the only one that's going to finish. I think that's why she is planning to finish, because she'll be the only one of the three that has finished at that point. Now, I will say my oldest son is working in the field that he went to school for, and doing very well. He's making more money at his age than I made at his age. So that's, doing well as far as that goes. My youngest son is not in the career field that he'd like to be in, but he is making his own money and living on his own and all that. So, at the risk of sounding mushy or like a good dad, I am proud of all three of my kids. So I love them all very much. That's why I never asked for anything for Father's Day. No. The greatest gift my wife ever gave me with those three kids. Actually, what I told her is the greatest gift she ever gave me outside of the three kids and allowing me to be inside her was the ticket to go see Segura last week. I guess 2 weeks ago almost now. I'm still hung up on that particular. Well, my lights are dimming down here for some reason. I'm still hung up on that seeing him live. It was just phenomenal. So anyway, so to the UFC fights, Lutch, if you're still watching, this is where I rely on you. You follow it much more closely than I do. And I caught the last Christina P's new Netflix special is great if you haven't seen it. I have not. I've added it to my queue. I like Christina P. I think she's funny. It's funny because she and Tom doing the podcast together. Tom oftentimes plays the straight man on that show, and she plays just the ridiculousness, which is very, it's funny to me. But Your Mom's House is in my top 5 playlist on podcasts right now. So anyway, most boring pay-per-view card, minus the Chandler KO. You thought so? So, yeah, I guess I could see that. It might have been the most boring, but there's still some interesting stuff that happened. I mean, but that Rose fight with, I can't remember who she fought. That's how forgettable it is. Even though she lost, like that fight alone, I don't like Rose anymore. Like I'm just done with it. Like you owe us a lot before you can expect. I don't know if you can see my dog popping her head out through the curtain here. But she's spinning in circles to try to find a comfortable spot. It's just strange to see a dog that big do that. But anyway, Carla Esparza. Yes. So Carla Esparza, who Thug Rose, which I hate that name, Thug Rose, but Carla Esparza, I believe her nickname is the Cookie Monster, which what the fuck is that? I mean, that's insane. But anyway, I was glad to see, what's this here? You got to listen to her and Pat Barry's interview with Ariel Helwani. Where do I hear that at? Because I'm not familiar with Pat Barry or Ariel Helwani. And I am surface level with the UFC. I love watching the fights. But I don't dig in too much on some of them. I know we had a guy fight. I say we. Knoxville had a guy fight last weekend as well. And let's see if I can pull his name up here real quick. But let's see here. Bear with me. But yeah, I'm not familiar with some of those names. Let's see. Looks like, well, I just don't have the name. So, yeah, oh well. I can't remember the guy's name. It's a crazy name. He's not from here. He's not even from the U.S. But he trains out of Knoxville. So let's see. What do you say here? TLDR. Let's see here. They know Rose is so good. That her only losses are when she gets off the game plan. So that was her main goal. Game plan, do not let Carla take you down. Achieved, but got to do more than that. No, I agree with that. I mean, she took her down once or twice, but she got out of it pretty good. But those couple takedowns is what won her the match. I mean, I think Rose may have landed more strikes, but when you add up the strikes that Carla landed with the takedowns, that wins you the belt. And good, because if that's how you're gonna do a title match to retain your belt, Rose, then you deserve to lose the belt. So yeah. Anyway, a couple of good fights. The Chandler knockout of Tony Ferguson, was insane. That was just, I mean, the guy was asleep before his eyes could close. It was just, I mean, just a front kick right up the middle. I mean, just right on the chin. It was just lights out. Let's see here. Lots of people talking about how Rose had to fight Joanna 2 times, then had to fight Zhang 2 times. I don't want to see that Esparza fight again, but Rose deserves another shot. Well, sure. I think you got to put them back up again, but if that's how it's going to be, I say that to Carla. Like, Carla, if that's how you fight, I'll root for you. I'll root for you in a rematch with Rose because you beat her the first time, and she had more. She should have put on a better show than that because she could have beat the shit out of Carla, I think. But anyway, yeah, I'll root for Carla in a rematch. But if she does the same thing Rose did, then fuck you. You don't deserve the belt. Neither of you deserve the belt. But anyway, Tony was also out for a good 5 minutes. Yeah, that he was out for a while. And when they showed him sitting up on the stool, it was like he didn't realize the fight had even started yet. Like it was almost as though he was sitting there going like, hey, when are we going to fight? When's this going to start? So anyway, so yeah, Rose and Carla, that was a rematch. Yes, Esparza beat her the first time, so it'd be a rubber match, but whatever. I need to see if you're supposedly the best, which is what she comes out saying, Rose comes out saying, I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best. And I think that's her problem. She drank her own Kool-Aid and she thought there's no way I could lose. Just don't be taken down, and I've got this in the bag, and tough luck. You don't. So it should have been a draw. Rose keeps the belt, run it back for the trilogy. No, I disagree. And I'm one that tends to believe. I'm one that tends to believe that you got to beat the champ if you want to be the champ, as cliche as that phrase is. But I feel like Carla did beat the champ, barely, but she did. She fought a harder fight. I don't, whatever. It just was. It looked like if you went to high school when I went to it, looked like a couple of girls that didn't like each other but also didn't want to fight. Looked like they just wanted to kind of, slap at each other a little bit, maybe pull each other's hair, and be done with it. They looked like a couple of high school girls that did not want to fight. So, was this last year? Yeah, I don't like the notion, beat the champ if you want to be the champ, but literally nothing happened. I can definitely see Carla getting ahead on points, though. Yeah, that's it. That's my thing. She got ahead on points. I think she did beat the champ cat fight. Yes, I agree with that. It's what it looked like. It looked like a couple of high school girls that were just really bitchy toward each other, and then but didn't really want to fight. It was just like, well, I guess we're at this point, so we have to. What is this? I think Thug Rose will come back and take her out quickly. She took the loss hard. She should take the loss hard. That's my wife chiming in there. She should take the loss hard. She shit the bed in that match, in performance and by losing the match. She should absolutely 100% take that loss hard. She should walk in next time. I swear to God, if she walks in next time and says, I'm the best, no, fuck. I'm done with her at that point. Like, I don't want to root for her anymore at that point. But I also don't like when anyone seriously says they're the best at anything. I just don't like it when they're seriously doing it. So Lutch agrees with my wife. In that interview, I mentioned she was ready to come back. Yeah. Well, I mean, of course she's ready to come back. She didn't expel any energy in that fight. She could have fought again that same night. So, maybe that's what they need to do. Maybe UFC needs to go back to the way it was those first few UFC where you may fight 3 times and it's a tournament style. That would be fucking great. Do I think John Jones comes back? I would like to see John Jones come back. I honest to God think that if he gets out of his own way, that he is pound for pound the best fighter out there. If he gets out of his own way, that's the problem. He's got to get out of his own way. You see that in multiple sports where you got, Manny Ramirez was like that. He's a phenomenal talent, but he couldn't get out of his own way. So whatever. I love watching him fight though. Yeah. So anyway, John Jones. Agreed. Pound for pound, only defeated by himself. That's it. That's 100%. I agree with that. So anyway, we got another guy from Knoxville fighting one of the next pay-per-views. God, I can't think of his name either. I feel like I'm losing my mind. My memory is really Barbieri. Is that his last name? I can't think of his. I know I've got his name somewhere. I think it's Barbieri. Barbarera, something like that. So a couple of guys, that fight out of Knoxville. Let's see here. Jesus, where did he go? This is the kind of shit that drives me insane because I feel like I'm just sitting here, just wasting your time or whatever. But, oh well. I don't see it anywhere. I would have sworn, but Brian, I think, is his name. But anyway, yeah. Oh well. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that. I like seeing a couple of guys out of Knoxville fight. I've reached out to both of them to be on the Barber. I can't say his last name. I want to say that the Barbieri or whatever his last name is, I think his nickname is Bam Bam, but I'm not 100% sure. But so I want to say he's light heavyweight, but I don't remember 100%. So God, I think his nickname is Bam Bam. But anyway, so last time that he fought was a couple months ago, and he won that match as well. It was pre-pay-per-view, like it was a pay-per-view night, but it wasn't during the pay-per-view fight. But I want to say actually his next fight that's coming up is actually I think it's during pay-per-view time, but I don't know. Anyway, so I did reach out to him to have him on here, and he said, yeah, he'd like to, but ever since then we've not been able to connect. So Barbarina, maybe that's right. Yeah. So Barbarina. I can't remember his first name to save my life, but I thought Bam Bam was his nickname, but I may be wrong on that one. The guy that fought the other night that was from Knoxville had a very odd first name. I can't remember his first name. I mean, if I can't remember the other guy's last name, how can I remember this guy's first name? But it was, let's see here. Let's just go back to the main fights. Ovens St. Preux. He's fighting out of Knoxville. That's who it is. And he won on a split decision. So, yeah. So, anyway. Lutch, I appreciate you chiming in on all this stuff because you, like I said, you go in a lot deeper on this than I do. I'm jealous you got to go to Brian Barberina. Yeah, that's who I'm talking about. Yes, Brian Barberina. So he's based out of Knoxville as well. So I did reach out to Ovens St. Preux, and I have not heard back yet, but we'll see. I'd love to get those guys on here, talk fighting and and how the hell they got to UFC from Knoxville. But anyway, all right. I think that's probably enough. That's probably enough UFC talk. Yeah. OSP would be a dope guest. Yep, I agree. I agree. Yeah, because I didn't realize he was from Knoxville when they came up and they announced where he's, from or fighting out of or whatever. It kind of caught my wife and I both off guard. So, I've talked about Formula One on here. So UFC is another thing that my wife and I do together. We watch the pay-per-views, which is surprising that she chose to stay up. But she was a little upset that she chose to stay up as late as she did to watch those two title fights that happened. I mean, the Oliveira fight being as quick as it was, which it was still more exciting in that, few minutes that fight lasted was more exciting than the Rose and Carla fight. But she was upset she stayed up so late because we were up pretty late. But anyway, so yeah. So something else I wanted to talk to you guys about. This, have you heard about the black hole audio? So astronomers, I'm just going to read this article real quick. So astronomers detected sound waves coming from Perseus in 2003. More proof that space has its own peculiar music. Let's see here. They found to be equivalent of a note 57 octaves below middle C. So the human ear is only capable of hearing 10 octaves lower than middle C. It used to be thought that space was silent. Now we know that phenomena such as gravitational waves and even primordial sounds from the dawn of the universe can be heard by telescopes. Galaxy clusters are a deal, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so they basically took the audio that was, so low you couldn't hear it, and they bumped it up like 57 octaves to get an idea of what a black hole sounds like. And so I'm going to play that sound. I've heard this already. I love it. It's creepy, I guess, to put it. I don't know. You tell me. Now, I don't know what you think, but that's a pretty creepy sound. Hit the like button. Yeah, that's a creepy sound, though. I mean, granted, I understand that's not plot twist. It's a sex tape played at 0.005 speed. Is that what it actually is? Have I been duped? Yeah, so if that truly is what it sounds, I mean, obviously it's like 57 octaves below middle C, so the human ear can't hear it. But even bumping that up, to know it's even lower than that, that's strange. That's a creepy thing. But I'm fascinated with that kind of stuff, even though I don't dive deep into studying black holes or reading things. But I love the kind of shit that NASA puts out there, photos from other galaxies and other possible planets and things like that. I think it's, I don't know. I just enjoy it. It makes me, then also think about, like are black holes natural occurrences? Are they created by aliens out there, or are they even real at all? Or is it something that's been invented? I mean, like the Earth being round, it's just been invented by NASA. I wonder if you could feel it like the bass at a concert if the waves are too slow to detect. waves are probably very slow as far as the pattern. But I don't know. I don't know if, I mean, I don't know. If you watch Interstellar, you got to be able to feel something. You know, I don't know. I love the movie Interstellar, but it's such a strange, just the whole, don't leave me, Murph scene I mean, my daughter and I cut up about it on Murph. Yeah, that's it. Murph, don't let me leave, Murph. Yeah, it's an interesting. I say interesting. I'm not using interesting correctly. It's funny. It's a funny little scene. Don't let me leave, Murph. My daughter and I joke about that. But I do love that movie. Anyway, so black hole, that sound is a bit haunting or whatever. But so keeping with space, I'm pretty sure Congress is going to have a hearing on UFOs pretty soon. I don't know when. I don't know exactly what they're going to discuss. I don't know exactly what they're diving into as far as that goes. But they're going to be talking about UFOs, which it's crazy to me that during COVID we had all this UFO stuff come out and no one really cared a lot about it because we were so torn up over COVID and who was wearing a mask and who wasn't and who got their vaccine and who didn't, that we just really didn't pay UFO investigation and information release the respect that we should have been paying it. But I hope that we get some kind of proof, that there's UFOs out there. I mean, not UFOs, that there's aliens out there or something. They've been here. If for nothing more than if we can have alien overlords, if we can find out that aliens have been controlling everything, maybe it'll take some of the heat off of us white guys. Maybe, we get aliens come down and enslave all of us. Actually, we can, white guys feel like, maybe it wasn't so bad with us. Maybe, maybe we're not as bad as you thought. Or just in general taking the heat off, because then white guys can just go, look, you can't blame us anymore. We weren't even in control. It was the aliens. The aliens made us do it, and that's just we're victims as well. So who knows? But I'm fascinated with that kind of stuff. Damn whiteys. Yeah. So anyway, I'm fascinated with the space stuff. I feel like at any time Elon Musk is going to come out and say he's an alien, or he's got an alien that works with him, and that's how they've advanced some things so quickly. I don't know. Yeah. Alien overlords. Yeah. Take some of the heat off of us. But anyway. So I'm probably going to take a break in just a moment and then come back and and then I'll talk to you a little bit about some of the stuff that I've had going on lately, some of what I did today. And let's see here. Lunch, got to run. Good to talk to you, bruv. I'll send you a link to that Rose interview. Yeah, thanks, man. But I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll be back in, 5 or 10 minutes, and then go into a couple more things, and then get out of here. So just hang tight. Like I said, be back here. I don't know, here in just a little bit. So hold tight. All right. I'm fully aware that the old logo is on some of these videos still. Some of it is just going to be too difficult to change, but some of it I'll change at some point. So Hey, Trevor, thanks for checking in, man. I don't know if you're still there or not, but I appreciate it. So this weekend, I started doing the things that to fulfill my wife's Mother's Day present. So I offered to buy my wife a new MacBook or a new Apple Watch for Mother's Day. She talked about wanting an Apple Watch for a little while, although I don't completely understand. I don't have to, whatever. But she wants an Apple Watch for a couple of the things, but she asked me the other night, she's like, so you can just turn the notifications off so that you don't get your phone calls and all that stuff on there. Like, and I kind of showed her the way, like that, where you can pick and choose what you get on there. And she's like, well, that, fine. I would want, whatever. And I don't understand that, whatever. And that's one of the many differences that my wife and I have. There's things that she thinks and believes and likes and doesn't like or whatever. And I just don't understand it, and whatever. It's not my place to understand it. I love her regardless. I really do. But she actually decided what she wanted for Mother's Day was a soaker tub. And let me also I say preface, but even though I've started this already, I am 100% just saying this to get credit from you that are watching and listening, to tell me how good of a husband I am for doing this. But no, so she said she wanted a soaker tub. We have a jetted like jacuzzi tub in the master bathroom. It just, I don't know. Our water heater can't handle it. I don't know, but you can't get it, full enough with hot water to really utilize the jets and enjoy sitting in that tub. I tried to do it to sweat out some of the weight 2 years ago, and I just couldn't. It just wasn't enough. But so we've probably used that jacuzzi tub 3 times in the just over 4 years we've been in this house, and not successfully. And if you're wondering, never used it together. So I started today taking out that tub, and it's a bitch. I've put out the request to my sons to they're gonna have to come help me carry it out of the house, because I said, well, if I can sell the tub and the pump for it and make $100 or $200 on it, that's great. But I'm really debating on just cutting it in half so I can get it out of the bathroom and out of the bathroom and out of the tub. I mean, out of the bathroom and out of the house easier. Just cut it in half and carry it out. But the people that installed this, they used copper lines for all of the, running to all the jets. So you can't just go up under there and there's no quick connect. So you can't just go disconnect the plumbing and just lift it out of there. I had to get in there, cut all of the copper lines out, take the pump out, cut all the copper lines out, go in, disconnect the faucet plumbing and the drain and everything, and then get my wife to come as I would lift the tub up so I could get in behind it to cut more of the plumbing out, get her to kind of shove a 2x4 in to hold it up. And I'll tell you, I'm not one that gets too concerned about getting hurt, but when I was standing in there and I just see just 1 or 2 2x4s holding this thing up, and my wife's standing there, and I said to her, if this falls on me, you're just going to have to use your freak mother strength and lift it off of me, because I just see myself getting pinned and bleeding out under here. But so I'm very sore today. I'm going to really be sore tomorrow. On my knees trying to get into areas, and all the up and down, and laying on my side with a saw trying to cut this, and then lifting this tub up to prop it up, or to lifting it up so my wife could prop it so that I could get in and cut more of the copper line out. I'm just miserable sore right now, and I'm going to be probably that way tomorrow and even into next week. But the plan is get that out of there, go in, cut the little half wall out some, and sheetrock everything in, tile it with a tile of her choosing, and get a soaker tub in there set up for her, and hopefully she enjoys it once it's all said and done. And then eventually we'll redo the whole master bathroom, but that's the way the master bathroom is split up. That's something that's I was going to say easy. It's not easy, but it's easy to do that and not. It's easy to do that and not have to redo the whole thing. We will eventually redo all of it. And the updates on this house are slow going. I mean, we bought the house, and if I'm honest, against her, against my wife's recommendation, and the thought was we would do the updates ourselves. We've done some of them. We've not done all of them. I take the blame for that, but yeah. Today I did spend a lot of time in that bathroom, taking this jetted tub up and to get it out of the house, or to get it undone so it can be taken out of the house. Unfortunately, I don't think either of my sons are gonna be able to come help me carry it out tomorrow, so it may have to sit propped up for this week until they can help next weekend. But I don't know, we'll see. And I've noticed something, changing subjects, because I just noticed it, is, and I mean, you guys can pay attention on the video and you'll catch it, but my nervous tick with my eyes is back. So I have this thing where I don't blink like normal. It'll be one eye at a time, and I can't stop until it feels, I don't know how to explain it, so until I blink correctly, until each wink is correct and feels right. Feels like it's firm enough or hard enough or whatever. I just can't quit doing it until it feels correct. I don't know. It's an OCD thing. It's whatever. I don't know. I've these little OCD tendencies and things that I do. Like if I'm walking outside and one foot steps on a crack between concrete slabs, then I have to have the other foot step on the crack. It's gotten worse, because if the back of my right foot does it, then the back of my left foot has to does it. And also on the flip side of that, if the front of my right foot does, the front of my left foot has to do it as well. But it's only outside. Inside, so where I work, is concrete slabs everywhere. It's in a warehouse. Inside, no effect whatsoever. But then there's other things, like if I walk through a door, like if I walk into the kitchen and my right arm bumps or grazes the door jamb, then I got to do that with my left arm as well. When I'm sitting on the chair, if I'm sitting and watching TV and I lean back in the chair, if one of my ears touches the back of the chair, then the other one has to touch. It's fucking weird. I'm fucking weird when it comes to that kind of shit. I have this crazy thing, and my eyes are doing it right now. I know they are. It's driving me up the wall, but hey, this is me. I don't know. It's I don't know. It's so weird. It's just weird. Anyway, so let's see here. I had something else I was going to share with you guys tonight. Yep, there it is. Bear with me here, because I am going to dig into the bag of shit. So here we go. And now's the time. And because Steven's not here anymore, I get to play the whole thing. We don't think about what we have to say. We let a greater power do the talking for us, and we reach into our bag of shit. All right. So these are topics. If you've been around for a while, you know the bag of shit. We have random topics that we've put into this bag. Some of them are mine, some of them are Steven's. And I'm gonna pull it out and just whatever comes up is just whatever it makes me think of. So let's see here. This looks like this could be one of Steven's. Ugly babies. so ugly babies. Yeah. I think most babies are ugly. It's a thing. My wife and I've talked about. Fortunately, no, babies are cute. You can be cute and ugly though. That's the thing. But most babies are ugly. I would say that at least some of my kids were ugly when they were born. I'm not going to say which ones. My wife will bring that up around my kids at some point, and we'll let them argue over who they were. My youngest son had a bird face when he was born, for sure. My daughter had a golf ball belly button for a while that used to, when she would get angry as a baby, it would swell up about the size of a golf ball. And I don't know if it's just the way the umbilical cord was cut or what, but yeah, I mean, and also think about that Seinfeld episode where somebody had a baby and it was the ugliest baby they'd ever seen. Watch yourself talking about my babies, my wife says. I'm really surprised she's hung around this long, watching this show or listening or whatever she's doing. So, but yeah. So anyway, but the Seinfeld episode, I can't remember what it's called, but you should check that out. It's funny. But yeah, my instinct when someone when someone has a new baby and I'm supposed to see the new baby, my instinct is I don't want to. I don't want to see the new baby. I don't. On the flip side of that, I am ready to be. I'm excited to be a grandfather when it rolls around. I'm ready to be a grandfather, but I'm not ready for my kids to have kids. That's the thing. But I'm ready to have a grandfather. I've been told by my wife and my daughter that I'm already act like a cantankerous old man and grandfather. Like my daughter comes over with her dog. I was about to say her dog calls me grandpa, but the dog doesn't talk, obviously. But just what my daughter calls me to her dog. And so like when I play with the dog and throw the ball to him, I ironically roll the ball to him and talk to him like he's getting grounders and things like that, like I'm playing with a kid. It's just for the the funny aspect of it. But yeah, I still even when I have grandkids, chances are they're going to be ugly when they're a baby, because most babies I think are ugly. There are some babies though that you see photos of, or you see a baby in person, like, well, that's a cute baby, or a good looking baby, or whatever you want to say. That sounds weird. Good looking baby sounds weird. I don't know. Anyway, all right, let's do another one here. Oh, this is one of mine. Weird names. Weird names. Yeah, that's there's a new person starting at work this week that has a weird name. The name is Axelin. I don't know how it's spelled, but it's almost like it's AXELYN or AXLYN. It's a woman. That's a weird name, but I feel like more and more people are coming up with weird names for kids. And maybe, I don't know, maybe it'll come back around and there'll be some normal names, some Joeys and some Johns and things like that. But even though Garrett is not a weird name, there's a lot of names like Garrett or whatever that I can remember that just feel weird. But what was it? I swear to God, one time when my kids were young, there was a little girl playing in like the McDonald's play place, and the dad was calling her, and he was calling her chlamydia, which, I mean, just take weird out of it. Just what are you doing to your kid with the name chlamydia? I don't know. I don't have anything else to say about chlamydia other than that's you should have your you should have your kid taken away. If you're gonna name your kid chlamydia, you don't deserve to be a parent to that child. That is akin to doing drugs with your child, or your child getting into your meth if that's your drug of choice. But anyway, yeah, a lot of Braxtons and Braxleys and things like that. I feel like there's a lot more weird guy names that end up getting thrown out there than female names. I mean, my daughter's got I don't know that I'd call it weird, but her middle name is not a normal middle name. But yeah, anyway, interesting. I don't, yeah. If you name your kid something crazy, that's insane. Wasn't there a parent or some parents at one point that named their child Adolf Hitler, whatever their last name is? And I'm pretty sure that pretty sure they went to court for that. Let's see if I can find this here. If I can find this article while I'm on this subject. Let's just see. Let's see here. New Jersey couple lose custody. Oh, there we go. ABC News. Adolf Hitler Campbell, 4 years old, and his two younger sisters, Joycelyn, that's a weird name, Joycelyn Aryan Nation Campbell, as if Joycelyn wasn't bad enough. The two middle names are Aryan Nation, was 3 years old, and Hanslin Heinler Ginny. All right, tangent. If you give your kids four names, like two middle names, fuck off. You get one. You get a first name, a middle name, and the last name. Now, if your last name's hyphenated because you're progressive, fine, but you don't get to give your kid two middle names. Anyway, Hanslin Heinler Ginny Campbell was 2. Will remain in the care of the Division of Youth and Family Services. Now, this is an old article. Obviously, this is from 2010. The article starts off, the New Jersey parents who gave their children Nazi-inspired names, including Adolf Hitler, lost custody after a state appeals court ruled that a history of domestic violence puts the children at risk of abuse and neglect. That I understand completely. But I think originally what brought this up was because the names of the children anyway. They made headlines in 2009 when a ShopRite supermarket in Greenwich, Greenwich or Greenwich, I don't remember, New Jersey, refused to inscribe Adolf Hitler Campbell's name on a cake for his 3rd birthday. All right, well, first, you get that, you have that right to refuse service or whatever, but what are you doing? Just put the name on there and be done with it. They refused to inscribe the name on a cake for his 3rd birthday. At the time, police and child protection officials took the children into protective custody, declining to reveal the exact reason, but indicating it was not because of the children. Come on, give me a break. Anyway, so yeah, there were some parents that got in trouble for naming their child after Hitler, which was it's funny, not funny. It's not really funny, haha, isn't it? Someone telling a joke. It's funny, crazy to me that someone would name their kids that, even if you're a white supremacist and a Nazi sympathizer or a Nazi. It's still crazy to me that you would do some shit like that. So, whatever. Anyway, I feel like I drew another one out, but I laid it down. Well, there it is. This has got to be it. This is the last one I'll do, and then I'm gonna. This is another one of Steven's. I can see because it's his homeschool handwriting. Serial killer friends. Interesting question. If you had a friend and you knew that friend was a serial killer, would you turn them in? That's the first thing I thought was, if I had a friend that's a serial killer, would I turn them in? I think it depends. If they're Dexter style, probably not. I'll probably try to see if I could help them out. But I don't know. That's strange because I don't like to get in other people's business as far as that goes. I have to talk about other people's business and talk shit about it at home or with other friends or family. But, that is... Would you turn in your friend if they were a serial killer and you knew it? If you knew it, then they're not a good serial killer, probably. But would it be cool to say that your friend was a serial killer? Yeah, it would. It would. That would be kind of a cool... I mean, that's something you bring up at parties for sure. Or you use to pick up chicks because chicks fucking love true crime and shit like that. And to think of all the story, they would, for them to think about all the stories you could tell them, they'd have to be into that. You could 100% get laid if you had a serial killer friend, just on that alone. Even if you didn't really go into much detail, you could 100% get laid on that. Anyway. All right. I'm going to end on that note. People getting laid. If you just tuned in, I'm sorry you're coming to the end. You better chat something up real quick to get me talking about something else. Otherwise, I'm going to end this. Like I said early on in the show, I've put out a invitation to my wife, who has chimed in quite a bit tonight. So I put out an invitation to her that she can come on here and do some entertainment news. I will comment on it, make fun of whatever it is that she's talking about, not make fun of her. Yeah, I've put that invitation out there, and I've got an invitation out for a couple of UFC fighters that are based out of Knoxville to have them on as guests. We'll see how that goes. So far, I'm not getting a lot of traction with it. But anyway, let's see here. Do I have anything next week? No, I don't have anything lined up for next week as of right now. And I don't know if I will. I'm enjoying a little bit of this sitting alone and talking. It's harder than I thought, but I'm enjoying this. It's a little easier tonight than it was last week, but appreciate Lutch chiming in, tuning in, and my wife has chimed in quite a bit. Yeah. Let's see. Any other news coming up? No. I'm working out the details on another 3 the Hard Way with Andre, Easy, Big T, and Josh Dunn. Trying to get the schedule hammered out right now. Andre's pretty busy with work. But also, let's see here. Next Sunday, which I'll say this again, but next Sunday we should be back on schedule with something for the weekend that I do every other Sunday with Andre, Big T, and Easy's coming back on as well. So that's on Sundays. I want to say it's at 1 p.m. Eastern, but I'll send something out beforehand. But it's just a fun live show that we do where we kind of debate and discuss a couple of different topics and have a good time. So love those guys. And yeah, if you got something you want me to discuss, just shoot me an email, admin@b3fpodcast.com, or send us a DM on Facebook, Twitter. We're on Twitch as well. Let's see, Instagram. Yeah, other than that, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. And until next week, goodbye. Give us a thumbs up on Facebook at B3F Podcast. Follow us on Twitter and Twitch at B3F Podcast, and on Instagram at B3F_podcast. YouTube has all of our videos. Support us on Patreon or buy me a coffee at B3F Podcast. Send all your questions or comments to admin@b3fpodcast.com. Find us online at b3fpodcast.com. Rate us and review us wherever you listen. And as always, thanks for listening.